America, land of opportunity, land of freedom. But look closer and you'll see two different stories. One story shows immigrants working hard. They're picking our crops, caring for our sick and teaching our children. They're contributing, building a life here. The other story, detention centers, families separated, a system that feels broken. This story, it's about fear, about pushing people away instead of welcoming them in. Which America do we want? The one that embraces its immigrant history or the one that turns its back? Amnesty and deportation. Two very different approaches. One offers a path to citizenship. The other rips families apart. Amnesty says, you're here, you contribute, let's make it official. It means paying taxes, learning English, and becoming a full member of our society. Deportation? It's expensive and cruel. It tears families apart and sends people back to dangerous situations. It's not a solution. It's a band-aid on a gaping wound. One builds America, the other diminishes us. The choice seems pretty clear, doesn't it? Even Elon Musk and the Doge dog would agree. Trump has his views, but let's focus on the real issue. For-profit detention centers cut safe nets and profit from incarceration. Amnesty costs $13 billion for administrative processing and integration. But deportation? A staggering $315 billion over a decade. It's time for American families to unite and choose compassion over cruelty. The math is clear. Amnesty is the better path for America. Let's talk dollars and cents. Deportation costs a fortune. Think billions of taxpayer dollars spent on detention centers, courts, and enforcement. Money we could be using for schools, healthcare, or even just fixing our roads. Amnesty, on the other hand, brings in revenue. When undocumented immigrants become citizens, they earn more, pay more taxes, and contribute more to our economy. So, we can choose the expensive, ineffective route, or we can choose the path that makes us richer, both morally and financially. America was built by immigrants. It's in our DNA. Turning our backs on that legacy hurts us all. We need to choose compassion. We need to choose pragmatism. We need to choose a path that benefits everyone. Call your representatives. Make your voice heard. Tell them we need a humane, common-sense approach to immigration. Tell them we choose amnesty. Tell them we choose America.
Title: Amnesty versus Deportation for Non-Criminals and Families of American Citizens. Introduction: The debate over how to address the presence of approximately 13 million undocumented immigrants in the United States has long polarized policymakers and the public. At its core, the choice between offering amnesty and granting pardons for families of American citizens reflects broader questions about America's identity, values, and priorities. This report explores the costs, moral implications, and practical outcomes of implementing a system of amnesty and work permits versus mass incarceration and deportation. It also examines whether a hybrid approach, incorporating elements of both amnesty and pardons, could provide the most equitable and effective solution. 1. Amnesty and pardons. Defining the terms amnesty, a broad policy granting forgiveness for certain offenses, typically applied to large groups, focused on addressing systemic issues, such as undocumented immigration, by offering legal status and work authorization. Pardons, a legal mechanism to forgive specific offenses, typically on a case-by-case basis, allows individuals, particularly families of American citizens, to resolve their immigration status while formally recognizing past violations. Both approaches can be tailored to address the needs of undocumented immigrants and their families, ensuring fairness and economic integration while upholding the rule of law. 2. Cost analysis. Amnesty versus deportation and incarceration. Amnesty and work permits. Estimated costs: $6.5 to $13 billion for administrative processing, work permits, and legal status adjustments for 13 million undocumented immigrants. Revenue potential. Immigrants already contribute $20 billion annually to Social Security and $11.7 billion in state and local taxes. Legalization could increase taxable income, generating an additional $2 to $4 billion annually. Savings: reduced enforcement and detention costs, mitigated social costs. Mass deportation and incarceration. Estimated costs: $162 to $315 billion over 10 years, including hiring thousands of new ICE agents and support staff. Expanding detention facilities at $200 per person per day. Deportation logistics, including flights costing $117,000 per hour. Economic losses. Removal of key workers in industries like agriculture, construction, and caregiving. Estimated GDP reduction of $1.6 trillion over 10 years. 3. Moral and ethical implications. Amnesty respects the dignity and contributions of undocumented immigrants and their families. Reduces exploitation by granting labor protections and fair wages. Aligns with America's historical role as a land of opportunity. Mass deportation and incarceration criminalizes individuals whose primary offense is crossing a border. Separates families, causing long-term trauma, particularly for American citizen spouses and children. Profits private contractors and detention industries at the expense of human rights. 4. Economic and social benefits of legalization. Economic growth. Legalization could add $1.5 trillion to the U.S. GDP over 10 years. Higher wages for legalized workers boost consumer spending and economic stability. Labor market stability. Undocumented workers fill essential roles in industries facing labor shortages. Legalization ensures fair competition and improves working conditions. Public safety. Legalization allows law enforcement to focus on genuine criminal threats. Improves community trust in law enforcement by reducing fear of deportation. 5. Political and social context. The kitchen politics conservative concerns. Emphasis on fiscal responsibility clashes with the high costs of mass deportation. Anti-immigration rhetoric often masks profit motives tied to private detention industries. Elite interests. Figures like Elon Musk, who benefited from immigration policies, now support restrictive measures while profiting from exploitative systems. Private contractors and lobbyists drive immigration enforcement as a lucrative industry. Reality of deficit concerns. Deportation schemes exacerbate the deficit without addressing structural issues. Legalization increases tax revenues, aligning with deficit reduction goals. 6. America's dignity versus profit-driven policies, restoring America's values. Amnesty and legalization reflect principles of justice, equality, and opportunity. Deportation and incarceration tarnish America's moral standing and global reputation. Human capital. Undocumented immigrants and their families are vital contributors to the U.S. economy and society. Investing in their legalization is an investment in America's future. 7. Conclusion and recommendations. Amnesty and work permits provide a cost-effective, humane solution that integrates undocumented immigrants and their families into society. Ensure fair taxation and labor protections while addressing public safety concerns. Pardons for past violations. Acknowledge immigration violations while offering individuals a chance to resolve their status, particularly for families of American citizens. Reinforces accountability within a broader framework of compassion and justice. Comprehensive reform. Invest in streamlined administrative processes to legalize immigrants efficiently. Redirect funds from punitive enforcement to community-building initiatives, such as affordable housing and education. By embracing amnesty and work permits, paired with targeted pardons for families of American citizens, the United States can uphold its values, boost its economy, and restore dignity to millions of hardworking individuals. This approach not only addresses fiscal concerns, but also reflects the moral and ethical commitment to fairness, opportunity, and justice for all. Bottom line cost comparison policy option total cost explanation amnesty and work permits $13 billion, includes administrative processing and legal adjustments for 13 million people, generates additional tax revenue, and reduces enforcement costs. Mass deportation $315 billion includes ICE expansion, detention facilities, transportation logistics, and GDP losses due to removal of workers. Key insight. The Department of Government Efficiency aims to cut $2 trillion from federal safety nets, yet implementing amnesty could save America hundreds of billions of dollars while avoiding harm to vulnerable populations. By opting for amnesty, the country could achieve nearly equivalent fiscal relief without profiting off incarceration and exploitation. This solution aligns with economic pragmatism and moral responsibility.